industrial projects, dams, urbanization, mining, all these are seen as a need of a progressing nation. But they become questionable when people of the very nation have to leave their habitat to make room for such projects. Involuntary displacement is one painful reality of our times, which is mostly faced by the people who are already poor and downtrodden. Today, we'll ask our guest and expert, Mr. Sugata Sen of School of Social Sciences, IGNOU, that where does the solution for this problem lie, and is there a respite for those who are faced with the problems?
No doubt, involuntary displacement is a painful and traumatic process for all those who are forced to go through with it. But the solution lies in a careful planning of such projects. Now, these projects themselves have the potential to rehabilitate these people by providing them jobs, and this potential must be utilized properly. And if you notice, the most successful projects have been those that have displayed priority in providing jobs to the people who have been displaced by such projects.
But it is quite possible that a project may not be able to give employment to all the people whose livelihood it may have affected. That many jobs may not be available, or project affected people might not be equipped to take up those jobs which are available.
Yes, that's possible. In fact, such situations certainly do arise. And that is why there are compensation packages and self-employment schemes to take care of people who are displaced by these projects.
Self-employment is definitely a good way of economic progress, but most of the displaced people are used to farming and related jobs. Won't it be extremely difficult for them to adapt to these new business?
Well, adjusting to new circumstances imposes hardships on everyone. But to make things easier for themselves, they should select projects which draw upon their own talent and which is suitable for the local area and local markets. Now, let us take a look at one such business option.
Man has been using colors made out of natural substances since ancient times. These natural colors are used both in dyeing clothes as well as adding color to food products. The Forest Research Institute at Dehradun has been researching in the area of manufacturing natural dyes. For example, a technique has been innovated to make natural dyes out of the bark of eucalyptus trees. The bark is first separated from the tree. It is then shredded into small pieces. It may be noted that the eucalyptus wood is used for the purpose of manufacturing pulp and paper. However, the bark remains a waste material. Generally, waste materials that are available in large quantities such as pine needles, Cassiatora seeds, and different portions of eucalyptus tree are used as biomass for extracting natural dyes and colors. Here you can see the biomass being separated from the dye stuff through the process of filtration. The use of natural dyes and colors kept on declining ever since synthetic dyes were invented in 1856. However, there has been a revival in the use of natural dyes because the adverse effects of synthetic dyes were realized. In the process of manufacturing dyes out of the bark of eucalyptus tree shown here, technicalities have to be observed. For example, after filtering the biomass, a particular pH has to be maintained, which in this case happens to be 2. Let us continue to observe the process. Here you can see the cloth is being put in the dye solution. The cloth is heated for an hour, after which it is ready for the purpose of dyeing. The trend towards the use of natural products in every dimension of life is a welcome sign. For example, medicines made out of natural substances, the use of natural insecticides for agriculture. We can create various shades of colors from a single natural dye. Various shades are created by different mordants. In the process shown here, mordant is being used to fix the dye. This process takes about 45 minutes. The demand for natural dyes is increasing day by day. In foreign countries, the demand is approximately 10,000 tons annually. In India, the demand is 650 tons a year. The Forest Research Institute at Dehradun is willing to provide the technical know-how of manufacturing dyes to new entrepreneurs. For further information regarding this technique, Forest Research Institute Dehradun can be contacted.
Manufacturing natural dyes appear to be a nice business option.
Yes, it is a good business option, and this is so for two reasons. One, it is environment friendly, and secondly, it employs a technique which is very easy to use. Every business entrepreneur or every self-employed person looks forward to techniques that are simple.
In the disturbed surroundings of the displaced, there are too many things that one has to adjust to. In such a situation, anything that offers simplicity is welcome.
Well, along with physical rehabilitation, economic rehabilitation of displaced people is equally important and crucial. Now, for this, food and basic economic security is very important, and these kind of jobs are there to provide these kind of economic security as they are easy to learn.
But there must be other businesses that will come easily to those who are used to farming?
Certainly, there are such activities and schemes which are very close to farming. Let us take a look at the next story.
Bamboos are fast growing woody grasses which have multiplicity of uses. In India, they have been used since time immemorial for making all types of houses, particularly in tropical part of our country. In villages, people have been using it for a large number of uses, for construction of houses, for agriculture implements, for storage of seed and food grain, even for eating edible shoots. In industry, the major users of bamboo have been paper industry of India, which takes care of about 1/3 of the total raw material produced in the country. But other countries like China, Thailand, they have been earning millions of dollars every year simply by exporting edible shoots of bamboo and handicraft items which they make in bulk to export to developed world. In our country, we could not use all these things because we did not pay a lot of attention for developing bamboo sector. Main problem in bamboo has been that it flowers once in life and the clump dies. Seeds are viable only from 6 to 8 months, and there has not been available any suitable method for rapid and mass scale production of bamboo. Now our council, Indian Council of Forest Research and Education, has developed easy methods which can be used at nursery scale for continued mass production of bamboo seedlings, and the process continues till the next flowering occurs and seed becomes available. We have developed a easy method of bamboo propagation which is known as macro proliferation. The method is like this. Whenever bamboo seed is available, it is planted in trays or in the nursery bag and it's carefully maintained. Within 5 to 6 months, the seedlings are ready, which can be taken out from the nursery beds or the bags, and their root system is cleared of the soil. You will see a single seedling having several branches. Each of the branches is separated carefully with the help of a sharp sketch here, so that several seedling units are created. Each unit should have rhizome piece, a root system, and the intact shoot system. This way, from each seedling you have got several propagules which are again planted in the nursery bag or in the polythene bags which are filled up with suitable medium. Using this method, you can make from one seedling about 4 to 15 propagules, which will take another 4 to 6 months in the nursery to be able to be field planted or further multiplied. This method can be repeated twice a year. So from each seedling, we can produce about 16 to 30 seedlings every year. But by further improving this method, we have developed standard nutrient treatments and fertilizers and hormone treatments also, which further enhance the proliferation rates. We can now even multiply it 3 times in a year under Dehradun conditions, and perhaps more time of years in South Indian conditions where winter is very short. So from one seedling, if tried properly, we can have any number of propagules even under nursery conditions. Bamboo is a precious natural resource which should be used judiciously. Under natural conditions, bamboo decays within 1 or 2 years, and this way in our country we are wasting millions and millions of tons of bamboo from housing sector and other rural sector uses. To overcome this problem, the scientists of our councils, they have developed very good and suitable preservation methods. If the bamboo is treated using these methods, the lifespan of bamboo columns increases to more than 20 years, and that way we can increase the utility period over decades instead of a few years, and that helps to use this material more judiciously.
Bamboo is a perishable material and it is easily attacked by insects and fungi during the service. So it has to be treated with preservative chemicals which are toxic in nature, and the solid bamboo in dry condition cannot be treated by any method. So in green condition it has to be treated by wick method. In this method we have to cut the bamboo in different sizes and put in the bucket containing the preservative solution, and the bamboo has to be supported by some wall or tree. The another method is to cut the strips of the bamboo and then make bundles and put in the preservative solution for 15 days. So in 15 days the preservative will move inside. Now when we want to use a long bamboo in solid condition, so it can't be treated in dry condition, so we have to treat it by butchery method. In this modified butchery method developed by FRI, the bamboo has to be fixed with the equipment containing the CCA preservative or boric acid borax preservative, that is water soluble, with the help of hose pipe and wires. Then we give a pressure of 20 pound per square inch on this CCA solution. So by this pressure the sap of the bamboo will drip from the other end, and it will be replaced by the preservative solution. When the other end contains the preservative solution, then we stop this process. This is a hardly 2-3 hours process for a long 40 feet long bamboo.
Bamboo has a lot of commercial and economic benefits. I hope more and more people will come forward and take up bamboo planting in a big way.
Yes, that sounded interesting. Please tell us that how the success of rehabilitation programs for the displaced is gauged.
Well, the ultimate test of a successful rehabilitation is to see that the people who are affected get to regain their livelihood. And it has been observed that projects and schemes which employ people productively on land and local surroundings do a much better job of giving their livelihood and regaining their income as compared to other kind of jobs.
But how do people at such a large scale take up to new jobs so conveniently?
No, I would not say it is very convenient or easy. There is a transition period before which the situation is a little difficult, but after this transition period things get easier for the people. In fact, the entrepreneurs start to perform better after this initial transition period, and there are agencies and organizations, some set up by the government, which help the people to adapt better to the new situation, which help the people to be trained better and therefore perform better and adapt better to the new situation.
Could you tell us that are there any organizations which help to create new vacations which project affected people can take up?
Yes, there are certain agencies which help to do this. In fact, some of them have been set up by the government. For instance, there was a scheme to have a nursery in every panchayat, and for this the seedling used to be for flowering used to be placed in polythene bags, but now root trainers are used for this purpose. Let us see a story on this.
The success of any plantation depends on the success of the nursery. Keeping this important issue in mind, the Forest Research Institute, Dehradun, is working in the area of adapting the modern technologies to this field. So far, nurseries used to use naked seedlings or polythene bags.
नेकेड सीडलिंग्स या पॉलीथीन बैग उपयोग में लाया जाता था।
पॉलीथीन बैग के कई नुकसान
There are several drawbacks of using a polythene bag. For example, you can see a polythene bag in which plants have been grown. Plants are looking quite healthy, but the polythene bag that has been used is non-biodegradable, and because of that reason, it can never be destroyed. And so, it is extremely harmful for the environment.
जो पौधे काफी स्वस्थ दिख रहे हैं।
Similarly, these healthy-looking plants were studied closely. See, these roots are looking coiled. Because of coiling, the roots are not growing straight. This causes a lot of hindrance in the development of the plant, and it does not grow to its full potential.
और पौधे का जो ग्रोथ है वो काफी कम हो जाता है। मॉडर्न
With the coming in of modern nursery techniques, root trainers are being used. Root trainers are also called Hyco trays.
रूट ट्रेनर अलग अलग
Root trainers are available in several sizes.
ट्रेनर ब्लॉक के रूप में
These come in blocks and also as singles.
मिलते हैं। रूट ट्रेनर की विशेषता
The root trainers have vertical ridges built on their wall, which helps the roots to grow downwards, and the coiling does not take place.
नीचे की तरफ बढ़ने में
When roots come out from downside, then they are cut with the help of air pressure.
पीछे से
This is called air pruning.
उसे हवा के माध्यम से काट दिया जाता है जिसे कि एयर प्रूनिंग कहा जाता है। इसका नतीजा यह
The result is that the roots of the plants grown in root trainers do not get coiled and develops properly, whereas the root coiling in the plants grown in polythene bags can be seen clearly.
रूट कॉइलिंग
Because of this, the development of the plant does not happen properly.
इतनी अच्छी तरह से नहीं हो पाता है। आइए हम अब
Now let's watch the root trainer modern nursery process.
दिखाते हैं। रूट ट्रेनर टेक्नोलॉजी
The most important part of the root trainer technique is sand,
सॉइल
soil
कंपोस्ट
and compost.
तीनों चीजों को मिलाकर
These three are mixed to form the potting mixture.
इसको अच्छी
These
तरह
are
से
mixed
मिलाकर
properly and then sieved.
इसे छान लिया जाता है। छानने के बाद इसे
Afterwards, it is filled into the root trainer. Different types of compost are used for different potting media.
लाए जाते हैं।
Compost is made of waste materials like grass and leaves.
इन चीजों से बनाई जाती है। कुछ महत्वपूर्ण प्रयोगों के लिए
For some important uses, vermiculite and quartz sand are used as inert medium
पौधों को
so that
किसी भी
plants
तरह का
don't get
नुकसान ना हो।
any kind of infection.
रूट ट्रेनर में potting
It is
media
very easy to fill the potting media into the root trainer. Filling 25 cells of root trainer with potting mixture takes just a few seconds. In comparison to this, it takes a lot of time to fill the polythene bags.
दो पॉलीथीन
And the time taken in filling 2 polythene bags is sufficient for filling 25 root trainer cells.
रूट ट्रेनर
Another important benefit of the root trainer modern nursery technique is that transportation of the seedling becomes very easy.
200 सीडलिंग्स
And 100 to 200 seedlings can be transported very easily with the help of stands.
के सिवाय भी
Even without the stand, one man can easily take 50 seedlings to the jungle for plantation.
प्लांटेशन के लिए ले जा सकता है।
Keeping the benefits of root trainers in mind, people can start using the root trainers.
टेक्नोलॉजी अपना सकती है।
For any information regarding this technique, Forest Research Institute Dehradun can be contacted.
उपलब्ध है।
Why such emphasis on self-employment only?
Well, you see, the best thing about self-employment is that the harder you work, the better you get.
But there must be other options.
Well, there certainly are. There can be cash compensations, and it is also possible for the displaced people to be provided jobs in the very same projects which have displaced them in the first instance. What we have been talking about is certainly not an exhaustive list of options. There are various options, and what works in one situation may not work in another situation. It varies from place to place and situation to situation.
So one has to look for the best thing for oneself. You have to judge that what will work best for you according to your familiarity with technology and availability of raw material, etc.
Yes, certainly, and also according to the surrounding markets and the demand in them for certain products. Now, there are certain items which are always in great demand and which, if they are produced, can never be, would never place the people producing them at a loss. They will always be successful. One such example is that of pencils. Now, let us see the next story about the production of pencils.
हाथ के औजारों के द्वारा पेंसिल निर्माण की विधि
The technique of manufacturing pencils with the help of simple tools has been developed by Forest Research Institute, Dehradun. These methods are extremely simple and anyone can easily use them. Especially if you have some knowledge of a carpenter's work, you can very easily do pencil manufacturing manually. In all, 3 tools are used, about which we'll tell you in detail later. These techniques are extremely useful for the rural areas, and with the help of these, people residing in the rural areas can start their own business. The most crucial thing in this is to choose the right kind of wood. Wood to be used should have straight fiber. It should be sufficiently strong and light. For example, this wood, which is also called patti in local parlance, its measurements are fixed. Length should be 184 millimeters, breadth 55 millimeters, and thickness 5 millimeters. When the wood has been selected, we give it a treatment. Treatment is necessary so that the pencil can be sharpened easily with a sharpener and can be peeled off easily. So the treatment is needed. To give the treatment, the pencil slats are bundled up like this. Small chips of wood are fastened between these. Inside these tank, melted wax has been kept. Color is mixed to this wax and these are dipped into it, as it is being done now. The duration for keeping it dipped depends on the kind of wood being used, but maximum time is 3 to 5 minutes. After treatment, the bundle is kept in an oven, heated up to 90 degrees for 12 hours. This dries out the excess wax and the slats are ready for manufacturing pencils. After treatment, the slats are smoothened and the grooves are made into them. See how the grooves are being made. Like this, both the slats are grooved. After making the grooves, lead is placed in them and both the slats are joined. After making many such pairs, they are put into fasteners and are left for 24 hours. When we take it out of the fastener, a block of this shape gets formed. We cut it with the help of a cutting tool. See how is it cut.
इसको तीसरे टूल के द्वारा
With the help of the third tool, it is made round shaped.
पेंसिल को देखभाल करने के पश्चात
After polishing and coloring these pencils, the final product gets ready.
To get more information on these research activities, you may write in to the Public Relation Officer, Forest Research Institute, Dehradun.
Like I was saying, there are several such agencies and institutes that work with people who are displaced in order that these people can regain their livelihood. You just mentioned one such institute which has done a lot of work and come up with several new techniques which the people can use so that they can improve their own businesses.
There are other similar organizations and research institutes. For example, Sabala in Bijapur, India Development Services in Dharwad and Karnataka, Khadi Gramodyog Samyukta Sangh in Goddanakeri. These organizations also help in the resettlement and rehabilitation of displaced people in different ways.
With the help of these institutes and with their own ingenuity, perhaps the displaced people will regain their livelihood and hopefully regain all that they have lost in the displacement.
With this, we end our program, and thank you very much for coming to our studio.
Thank you.